Type 3 binary compounds, completely different from everything you've learned thus far. Okay, well, for an ionic compound, if you recall, they were always a cation of some sort, type 1 or type 2, hooked up with an anion. And the charge always
But that's not true for a type 3,
because in a type 3 compound, these guys share electrons. And this is called, yeah, well, see, that's where they share. They share electrons. And we'll get into the covalent compounds and why they share, but you do need to know these are just talking
covalent
about
bonds.
non-metals. And because they're covalent bonds and they're
These
sharing,
guys.
And you can pretty much also ignore the noble gases, except xenon occasionally.
But
Or ignore that.
need to forget about.
Don't even
is you
think about
have to know
charges.
these
Everything you
prefixes.
learned about ionic compounds,
Yeah,
and
another one of those
charges,
stupid, you
forget
gotta know
about
things.
Type 3 compounds are so easy, yes. So first, you want to write the symbol for the first non-metal, which in this case is boron, and I'll try not to bore on and on. Okay, then the next thing you want to do is write the number for the prefix that went with the boron. So di means 2, yeah. Now that you have that, you want to write the symbol for the second non-metal. So fluoride symbol is F. Very last step you want to do is write the prefix, the number for that prefix. So there we have 3. That's it. You're done. There is the formula for diboron trifluoride. Easy. We need to try another one. So let's take a look at this one. We have nitrogen. That'd be the big N. And the prefix di, well, 2. Oxide, well, that's oxygen. Hepta, 7. Oh, we're done. Dinitrogen heptaoxide. Other direction, we've got the name. We've got the formula. We need the name. So here we go. First things first, write the name for the first prefix. Well, 2. What is that? Di. Good. Now that we have di, your next thing to do is write the name of the first non-metal. Nitrogen. Ah, we're halfway done. Now you need to write the name for the second prefix. Penta. Now we write the name for the second non-metal. So oxygen becomes oxide. And then we're going to make one small little change. We tend to drop the A when there's an O in front of it. Whatever. Pentoxide. So we now have the name for N2O5 as dinitrogen pentoxide. Little thing to remember, and that you should never, ever, ever, never, ever, ever use mono for the first nonmetal, ever. Just by its mere presence, we know there's one. Take CO2, for example. Would we call that monocarbon dioxide? No, that's carbon dioxide. I'm obligated to do one more. So, first thing we want to do is we want to name the first one. And since there's only one of those, we get to ignore that fact because we're not going to use mono for the first one, and that first one is carbon. Now, for the second one, we need to know how many of these guys we have, and the prefix for 4 is tetra. And now we're going to name this nonmetal and change the ending to ide, so tetrachloride. So, the name of this CCl4 is carbon tetrachloride. Next, we're going to go the other way for type 1 and type 2 compounds and write their formulas.